What's going on, guys? With the recent release of the Gundam Seed Freedom movie, we've got all the Seed madness going on right now. I thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to take a look back at this old issue of Dengeki Hobby Magazine from June of 2023 with a special feature there, as you can see, on Gundam Seed kits. So we've got a bunch of Seed kits that are going to be covered in this issue with a lot of other cool stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look back at over 20 years ago, what the Gunpla scene was looking like back in 2003. Right, so here we have the MSRP for this at 830 yen, so about $6-7 in today's currency conversion for Dengeki Hobby Magazine, which they don't have a printed magazine anymore. This is almost 300 pages in length, so Dengeki always a pretty thick one. There's going to be a lot to go over, so let's go ahead and get into it. Aside from the Seed kits that we're going to see in here, there is also, it looks like, going to be a feature on the HY2M DOM. That's the 160 scale DOM kit, which is almost a perfect grade, sort of similar like a perfect grade, but not exactly a perfect grade. There's the DOM and the Goof are part of that 160 scale line. Neither of those kits I have. I guess those would be kits that would be very interesting to check out at some point. If any of you guys happen to have one and might be willing to sell it, or just even loan it to me just to build and share here on the YouTube channel and I can send it back to you, definitely hit me up, because I think that would be very interesting. I don't think that those kits have probably had too much English language video coverage here on YouTube. So just a couple things here at the start, just some different advertisements for some different things. Just trying to get to the table of contents here. This is for Nude, the Natural Ultimate Digital Experiment, an Xbox game, I guess, something. I've never heard of that, but I don't know if that made it over to the US anyway. So pretty cool advertisement over here for the Fireball SG Machining Krieger kit there. An old Nito kit there, interestingly enough, for 2,400 yen, which is coming out at the time. So cool to see that in here. And then here we have our table of contents. So this is volume 54. And obviously everything in here is going to be in Japanese. And also the order is going like a backwards Japanese style here for us. So starting off with Gundam Seed, we've got the Ailstrike Gundam over here, the Freedom Gundam over here, both model kits. I'm not sure exactly which model kits those are, but we will find out here in just a second. I assume once we get to a little bit later on, we'll see more features about those. But here we have some of the enemy mobile suits. All three of these we actually just in the past couple years have gotten now as full mechanics releases in 1/100 scale finally, after originally they had HGs like a long time ago, of course, but here we have the Forbidden, Calamity, and Raider Gundams. So some cool artwork here for those three enemy mobile suits, enemy Gundams from the series. Some more artwork here, character artwork, mobile suit artwork, Gundam artwork. So kind of cool. Remember at the time, Seed was the thing. Everything was all Seed at the time. I don't remember at this particular month, in like the summer of 2023, where that would have been in the series. I would imagine the series would maybe be still kind of ongoing. Obviously, we had the Freedom out, which was in the later part of the series. So looks like what we have here is the Bandai 144 scale plastic kit. So this is not even the HG. I think this is just the non-grade 1/100 scale, or sorry, 1/144 scale non-grade kit, which I believe there is, because this would say high grade if it was a high grade, but it doesn't. So pretty nice looking build here. Obviously not going to be anything too flashy, being based on the non-grade 1/44 scale kit. But I mean, obviously, even just to get it to look as good as it does, certainly there was a lot of work involved, and you can see there's some work in progress photos over here. So it's kind of cool. The section here about the head shows a work in progress photo and a finished photo. Of the arm, work in progress photo and finished photo. So kind of cool setup here for how the kit is shown off in this magazine. I like it. Same thing here for the beam cannons, the legs, the railgun, the weapons there, and then we have our finished product. So yeah, it's a it's a pretty derpy looking kit, just in terms, I mean, the build is nice. The kit, the details, the proportions are not so good. So fortunately we have the HG Revive kit of that out now, which is fantastic in comparison. If you wanted a 144 scale high grade kit, I would even say that the HG Revive kit is better than the real grade, but that just kind of depends on your own personal taste. So here we have some more models that are part of the 144 scale non-grade line, which I guess maybe at the time of this magazine, maybe the high grade line hadn't even started yet, is what it kind of seems to be. Let's see if we could just kind of fast forward a little bit, if there's anything about the beginnings of the high grade line. Interestingly, here's the 160 scale strike. Anyway, so we'll see what we get into, but this is all about the 144 scale kits. So you've got the Dual Gundam, the Strike with the different backpacks, the Buster, the Aegis, a few other different mobile suits on here. Pretty interesting to kind of look back at these old kits. I remember seeing these kits a lot on eBay at the time. It was kind of at the time when Gunpla was still, it was kind of like just starting to not really be available in stores anymore at the time. So like I remember shopping for Gunpla on YouTube and seeing these HG, or not HG, sorry, 144 scale non-grade seed kits a lot at the time there on eBay. But here we've got the Blitz Gundam. It's such a cool Gundam design, and I mean, this is a pretty good job. Again, like the modeling in here is of course done very well. Oh, and this is the high grade, so okay, so the high grade line had started at the time, and this high grade kit had just come out in April of that year, so just probably like right about the time, because these, even though this is the June issue, that means that this came out at the end of April. This would be like April 25th or something, would be actually right around the release date of this kit. So anyway, the HG Blitz was fresh and hot at the time, and yeah, it does look pretty good. Certainly better, it certainly would be better than the 144 scale non-grade, but I don't know, maybe not by too much. We got the Jin here as well. This one also looks like a high grade, I believe. It looks to be the high grade. Yeah, this is also the high grade. So there's going to be some high grades in here. So it looks like we just had the first part just kind of showing off some of the earlier non-grade 144 scale kits. And then this is going to be going through some of the high grade kits here. So definitely going to be very early on in the high grade seed line, with like the Blitz and the Jin here, for example, being a couple of the first ones out in that line. This one here, interestingly enough, modeled by Naoki. So I believe that would be Naoki, as in Naoki, the Gunpla designer. I know there's also Naoki Kimura, which is a different modeler, just also sharing the same first name. But usually when he's credited, it's first and last name. Usually when it's just Naoki in all caps like that, it's Naoki the designer. But anyway, so I believe, and just based on like the decal style on this, it also looks like Naoki's earlier work. So that's going to be my guess. But that's got to be pretty early on in Naoki having his works published, or being a part of this whole like professional Gunpla modeling scene. It's kind of interesting. So the Jin, very cool design. Of course, we got the master grade eventually later on for that. And so yeah, this is HG kits. So we've got the HG Ale Strike Gundam over here, HG Dual Gundam Assault Shroud, HG Aegis, HG Buster here. And this is kind of cool how it's showing like just like the kit just straight out of the box, so without like being painted or anything like that, and as well as some different modeling tips. So there's some tips in here about like how to cut the parts, how to modify the parts for just making the kit look better for each of these kits. So kind of a couple little modeling tips here for each of those releases. That's cool to see. Very nice. And then the 160 scale Strike here as well. We got some modeling tips for this one, and then here's the finished build, which it's a really cool looking design there of the Strike. Some of the proportions I don't really like the very wide feet. A lot of the early seed kits at this time, for some reason the feet are so wide and flat. I just really don't understand some of the proportion choices for some of the early seed releases, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, if you kind of ignore that part, I do like the head design and kind of some of the other aspects of the proportions of that kit. It's a pretty cool looking kit. It's a nice looking build of that kit. And this is all still the 160 scale kit there, with the sword striker pack, the launcher striker pack. Kind of cool to see. Very interesting. All right, and then some of the 100 scale series. So again, I'm gonna guess that this is maybe before the master grade was available, because yeah, even going to the next page here, there's more about the 100 scale, but it doesn't say anything about the master grade. So I'm guessing maybe the master grade was not out yet. So these are just gonna be some of the 100 scale non-grade kits, I guess here, which the 100 scale non-grade seed kits are probably some of the best seed kits around at that time, in my opinion. Better proportions, better details, of course, than the HGs. And also, I mean, like for the 160 scale, there's really only the one. There was a Freedom 160 scale kit as well that came out later on, but the 100 scale series of seed kits are not too bad at all. Definitely worth checking out. I think they hold up pretty well. And again, here with these sections, we have some kind of tips on how to modify some of the parts, which is cool. And this fully painted and modeled version here of the 100 scale Strike Gundam there. I was going to say Ale Strike there. That's just the Strike. We have the Ale pack over here on the next page after this fold out page. So this fold out poster here of the Ale Strike, which is very cool. I definitely like the added bit of yellow there. It definitely gives it a little bit different kind of look to it. So really nice build there of the Ale Strike. I like that quite a bit. Nice slight color changes. And then on the back side of there, a bunch more photographs in detail of the build. So it's a really nice looking build there of the 1/100 scale Ale Strike. Pretty cool. All right. Up next, we've got Orb Times with some more Seed related stuff there. It looks like stills from the anime and everything. Stuff to do with the CD and DVD release from Gundam Seed. It's Gundam Seed 2. So yeah, I guess it was, the Seed series was still ongoing at the time, it looks like, if the just second CD or second DVD was being released or being advertised in here at the time, looks like to me. And then we've got Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Astray B, part of like one of the Astray side stories here, I guess, interestingly enough, which we have a kind of like interesting photo novel here with some text and some imagery there using the model kits in some cool diorama scenes to kind of play out the story. That's kind of cool. And some other different mobile suits in here as well. So very interesting. Kind of cool to see, the kind of thing you really don't see too much in, I'm not sure if there's any publications now that are doing anything quite like this anymore. I think it's kind of mostly gone by the wayside. But here we've got a little feature now on the model kits that were used for that. It looks like we've got the M1 Astray. This is a 1/44 scale kit here based on the blue frame kit. So based on the Astray blue frame and then modified here to the M1 Astray. It looks pretty cool. Cool backpack there, which I imagine would have to be mostly scratch built here, it looks like, for the backpack, but that looks really nice. You can see some cool before and after photos down here as well. Some more work in progress photos over here for the different aspects, the body, arm, backpack, leg, etc. Then we have a cute little SD Astray blue frame here as well. That looks pretty awesome. Actually modeled using the Astray red frame HG and then just basically painted to be the blue frame there. So that's pretty nice. There is a Gundam Seed and Astray Modeling Manual Volume 1 as another MOOC that's available, I guess. I am not sure if I've ever seen that one, but that would be interesting to take a look at. Another old one there, obviously, of course. And then getting into some UC era stuff here with some very interesting looking builds of the Gundam and the Gelgoog. Looks like these are from the Girin's Greed, I believe is the game that these would be from. Very interesting color version of the RX-78-2 there with the Gelgoog shield, which love the Gelgoog shield. It looks good on anything. It definitely looks good on Gundams as well. Here you can see, like, this is from the game data. It's 3D data of Girin's Greed here with this yellow and green version of the Gundam. Very interesting indeed. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this before, to be honest. I feel like I've seen the Gundam in every way, shape, or form, every variation possible, but this is one that I'm not sure if I ever have seen this before, interestingly enough. But this is the HGUC 1/44 scale version of the RX-78 used for this custom build. And then we have, looks like the HGUC Gelgoog Mariner is used here for this version of the Gelgoog in kind of Garmazabi color. So this is the Garmazabi version of the Gelgoog here. Looks kind of cool. There, very nice. All right, so an advertisement over here for some Gundam themed credit cards. And I guess there's an HY2M RX-78-2 Gundam special version of that that's in like a kind of metallic colors there, which is very interesting. I guess that's a kit that maybe you could get when you got the card or something. That's got to be a super rare one, I would have to imagine now at this point. All right, an advertisement for a new store opening. And then over here, an HY2 Future Gundam floor chair. Speaking of rare, I can't imagine that this is anything that's very easy to find these days either. But it looks like it was available in black, blue, and yellow. Some Gundam hand chairs. Very, very interesting. I've definitely have not ever seen those before, as far as I know. But man, I wonder if anybody has one of those and what it would cost to get one. Man, it's got to be really rare and very expensive, would be my guess. But all right, some Gashapon Gundam stuff over here up next. So it's going to be all sorts of different Gashapon stuff, it looks like, for the next couple of pages. If you guys have ever been to Japan into like a secondhand Gashapon store, if you see like the massive, it's usually like a just massive wall of Gashapon stuff. Over the years, there's been so many different Gashapon lines of Gundam. So you can see there's a bunch of different ones here. Most of these are all just kind of SD stuff, and they're not always SD. As we get to the next page, you can see some of them are not SD, just like some other different, like normal proportions here for these, but all sorts of different cool. So this is cool to see. Old Gashapon stuff from that time. Some of these would be really cool. Like this one here is really interesting of Char with the Amuro and the Gundam there in the background. That's super cool. Would definitely love to grab one of those if I ever came across that. Some of these though, yeah, like that one, to find that in a store, if you could find it, I'm sure it would be very expensive, but it's probably really difficult to find. I don't know. I guess maybe if I went online and searched, maybe some of this stuff is not as difficult to find as I'm thinking, but a bunch more different Gashapon stuff. It's kind of crazy the amount of Gashapon Gundam stuff that was coming out at the time. There's so much. I feel like what we have coming out like these days would maybe like 1 or 2 pages worth of different stuff, and it wouldn't all be figures like this. They'd be like some figures and then like other, I don't know, like keychains and all sorts of other different crap, but it's like all these different types of figures and stuff that were coming out at the time. Quite interesting. All right, so this is the HY2M Glorious Series 160 scale Dom, or Rick Dom, I should say. Here we have got the regular Rick Dom and Char's Rick Dom, so 2 custom builds here of the Project HY2M Glorious Series kits. So yeah, definitely would be a really interesting kit to check out if I ever had the opportunity. I see them around from time to time. You can find them like in stores in Japan. It usually goes for around, I don't know, between $200 and $400 would be my guess, probably what you would find this for. But this one looks really, really cool. I love the details added on this build. This one's modeled by Takashi Yamada. It has some kind of camo panels on here as well. I'm not sure if it's meant to be camo or if it's meant to just look like kind of realistic off-color armor panels or something, but you can see there's kind of like these like square patterns around on there. But the details on here look really cool. You can see there's some work in progress photos as well that just show kind of the painting on it, but I love the added details on it. It's really, really nice. So there's the regular Rick Dom, and then we've got Char's Rick Dom over here, which rather than having like all the added little details on it, it just kind of has a more clean and refined look to it, which certainly works, and then has some added LED in here in the chest part as well. So it has LED for the mono eye, LED for the part there in the chest, and then LED for inside the cockpit too. So if you have the cockpit door open, you can see the light inside the cockpit, which is pretty cool. So this is very interesting. Yeah, it's one of those kits that, here's what the box looks like if you guys have never seen it. Yeah, I can't imagine that there's a ton of coverage. I believe Henry did a video on either this or the Goof before a long time ago, Vegeta 8259. But yeah, speaking of the Goof, here's an advertisement. So this was, interestingly, even before the Goof was even released. So the Dom was out, the Goof was on the way at the time. This is an advertisement showing the production prototype here for the Glorious Series Goof. So it hadn't even come out yet at the time. And as far as I can remember, that's the only 2 kits that came out in that line, just the Dom and the Goof. Unfortunately, the line died after that, but would definitely be cool to get my hands on one of those kits to be able to check out and share with you guys. And really cool artwork here for the design of the Goof as well. That's very interesting to see. All right, very cool. Up next here, this also looks like it's some more Gashapon stuff. It looks like some different works, like customizing some Gashapon here with some different decals, making a little Gashapon diorama. So kind of cool to see a Gashapon used for modeling, which you of course can do. And here's the Gundam Ultimate Operation. I guess is probably a series of Gashapon at the time, or no, it's like a series of little figures, interestingly, from Fusion Works. So, but here you can see them modeled in like different ways in like little vignettes here, which is very interesting. Definitely cool to see. Cool to see some modeling based off of candy toys, essentially. These are, I think, are like some sort of small figures, not necessarily candy toys, but like basically the equivalent of candy toys. It's cool to see some different ideas about how you could go about displaying them. If it's like a special color variant, you can keep it in like that special, just kind of off-white color like that. Just do your panel lining and just set it up on a nice base, for example, or build it into a little bit more of like a vignette kind of diorama scene, something like this. So some cool ideas there for sure. We've got the Gitter here. This looks like it's the 100 scale master grade Zigok there. So a little advertisement kind of showing off some of the features of the master grade Zigok, which was set to be coming out at the time, it looks like, in May of that year for 3,000 yen. Some other new Gundam products coming out at the time. It looks like 100 scale dual assault shroud, 144 scale Justice Gundam there, and a couple of other different Seed kits that were coming out at the time, smaller stuff. some more like Gashapon or candy toys, other kind of toys and figures and stuff coming out at the time. All very interesting stuff. Some of the stuff I've kind of seen before, a lot of it though I've not, because like I said, there's just so much different like Gashapon and candy toys and small toys and stuff like this that was coming out at the time. It's kind of nuts, and I've seen a lot of it, I'm sure, like in passing at secondhand stores in Japan, but there's just so much of it. So looks like some other book publications over here that you can get, Seed related. And this really nice from B Club. Looks like this is a 1/7 scale for garage kit, as well as looks like some Seed option parts, 100 scale hand option parts, a bazooka. What is that? 144 scale Seed, like a stray style bazooka there, I guess, was another B Club set, I guess, that you could get. Very interesting. All right, got a Gundam official card lanyard that you can get there with that card, another advertisement for that Gundam themed credit card. Looks like this is some like fan art or something sent in. It's a very interesting kind of different fan art. Got some line art over here of some sort of Jin variant. I'm not exactly sure which one that is, but that looks pretty cool. It's one I feel like I've seen this just very recently. I was looking at that. I can't remember the name of it offhand, but it's a particular variant of the Jin. And some more line art. So we've got a bunch of different really nice artwork here. Artwork of the GOG, line art of that. This looks like it's some other, is this internal details of the GOG? Yeah, so this is all line art for the GOG, for the backpack, the waist, the nozzle, the head cover. Really kind of cool to see. And I'm guessing that this was also around the time when the master grade GOG was maybe coming out, around that time as well. But some more artwork of just some different mechanical structure features of the GOG. Very interesting. All right, that's cool. And then more line art here, line art for some of the enemy mobile suits that we saw before, the Raider, the Calamity, the Forbidden Gundam. So a bunch of line art there of those different Gundams. Really cool to see all the different artwork and line art and stuff, everything included in here. PlayStation magazine, or what is that? Anyway, PlayStation advertisement. And let's see, so some of this stuff, I don't really know what it is or what's kind of going on with this stuff, so I'm just gonna kind of skip past some of this. Again, an advertisement over here for 2023 B Club releases, resin stuff. Here we got a cool Advance of Zeta bit here. All right, very interesting. So this would be a little bit part of the Advance of Zeta novelization. So you got some cool imagery here using the kits to recreate a scene here. Artwork of this particular character. A couple of characters here from the story, and some more of the novelization here, and then the Ewok Gym. This was a 100 scale master grade kit based off of the Type C, Gym Type C. So obviously a custom build here of the Ewok Gym. Would be awesome to get an actual model kit of this. Even as just a high grade, I'd be very happy with that. It's such a cool design, and we barely have, let's see, in 100 scale, we don't have any Ewok designs. We have both the, let's see, well, even in HG, we only have the Ewok Jagan and the Isaac, of course, but it would be cool to see a couple more of these, because there we have this from Advanced Zeta, we have the Ewok Gym. There's also, I believe I know I've seen artwork for an Ewok Jesta as well. I'm not sure if it's official or not, but it would be cool to see more stuff like this coming out from time to time. This is a really cool design. I know there's like a 1/144 scale resin garage kit I think that you can get of this, but in 1/100 scale, I'm not sure if there's a garage kit for it. I think it's the kind of thing you would just have to scratch build it, but this is a really cool build here of the Ewok Gym. Very nice. Got some more images, some details of that build over here, and a little Hazel down there at the bottom as well. You got first season DVD box and a second season of the O advertisement for Big O, not the O, Big O over here. Very cool. And Mobile Suit in Action, MSIA production, like action figures here for the Gundam Mark II, it looks like, and Zeta Gundam, another line of action figures, which is not in production anymore. Some Cubelays, a Jagan up there, some different mobile suits from the G Gundam series, another Gundam, and that Mermaid Gundam. So I did not know that there was MSIA Mobile Suit in Action toys of those particular mobile suits. That's pretty interesting, pretty wild. This is interesting here. It's the American International Toy Fair Report Mobile Suit in USA. So this is, I guess, a report from a toy fair in the United States where they had the Arch Enemy series. Interestingly, I had this, I believe I do still have it somewhere at my parents' house. The Arch Enemy figure here of the ARC 782. I think there was 3 or 4, I think 4 different mobile suits came out in the Arch Enemy series. The Gundam, the Gelgoog, the Wing Zero, and the Tall Geese, or the Wing and the Tall Geese. Anyway, I think it was maybe, but it's a really cool figure. It's large, it's like a 1/100 scale figure. And it's basically like a master grade, but you don't build it yourself. It's just a figure. You just take it out of the box. It's really nicely articulated and really nicely detailed. But yeah, that was, and I don't remember exactly what the price of it is. Of course, I have no idea. I can't remember, but if I remember correctly, it was like $30 or $40. Not that bad considering like the quality and the price of it. So it was really cool. Very interesting to see that one in here. And it looks like this is just some other photos from the toy fair there of some of the other stuff that they had on display. Some of this other stuff I definitely remember seeing, like some of the SD toys, some of these action figures. So in my very, very early days of being a Gundam and Gunpla fan, I had some Gunpla model kits, but I also had a bunch of these action figures. So there was a lot of these I remember, and some of these I had, some of these action figures, and then they had like the damaged versions that they came out with for some of them. So this is definitely very nostalgic to see a lot of this stuff in here. Pretty cool. All right, the Mobile Fortune, the Wind. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but very cute here. This actually looks like something that I feel like I've seen very recently. Some model kits or like garage kits or something, or 3D printed models of some of these cute mobile suit designs here of like the Jim, the Gundam, the Ground Gundam. It'd be the RX-781, that one there, but you can see for some of the other mobile suits. This looks so familiar. I feel like I've just recently seen something about these. If this looks familiar to you guys, let me know down in the comments section. Where have I seen these recently? These cute little chibi Gundam figures or something. Anyway, with those look cool. Then here we've got the Gundam Fixed Figuration Deep Striker. I actually used to have this, but I ended up getting rid of it. But yeah, the Katoki design Gundam Fixed Figuration here of the XS and Deep Striker. You can make it as the XS or you can make it as the Deep Striker. It had all the parts in there. And this looks like it's just kind of tips on how to clean up the build, because yeah, straight out of the box, the quality on these is not that great. I would definitely recommend, like if you have one and you want to get it, if you want to display it, just a word of warning that it would definitely be worth your while to try to clean up some of what you get just straight out of the box. Because straight out of the box, and it's gonna be hard for you guys to see in this little photo, but like some of the panel lines and stuff is just not very clean. And it would definitely look a lot better if you kind of go in and do probably a lot more work than it's worth, but go in and try to clean up some of the panel lining, maybe repaint some of the bits and things like that on these would definitely help the overall look. But it's an awesome design. I mean, it's a Katoki figure. It looks great if you put in the work to really make it look its best. But all right, so let's see. We got some more advertisements here, a whole bunch of stuff to get through still yet, so let's go ahead and just kind of go through. This is other like DVD releases, stuff coming out at the time. We've got a VF22S model kit in 1/72nd scale here from Hasegawa for you Macross fans. Looks like we're going to have our Macross section now, going through some different Macross stuff. As you guys know, I'm not a particularly big Macross fan, so this is not really gonna mean much to me. We've got Thunderbirds in here as well. So some of the stuff, I really just want to focus mostly on the Gunpla, as we've got a bunch of stuff in this issue. So here we got some Super Robot Wars. This is pretty interesting. Super Robot Wars original generation here. Altalian, pretty cool looking design there. But yeah, just because there's so much stuff in here, I'm just kind of gonna go quickly through some of this other stuff so that we can focus mostly on the awesome Gunpla in here. Here we got some Panzer Sword Gallant stuff here as well, which interestingly, I feel like in more recent years, we've seen some more model kits from that series coming out. We got Tactical Trial here, Virtualon. So there's going to be some Virtualon models in here as well. I believe this would be based off of the Kotobukiya kits. Kotobukiya did come out with some Virtualon model kits, and that's what I believe is used here for this one. But this is pretty cool. Another thing that I've just never built before, I've never built any of the old Kotobukiya Virtualon kits. So if you guys have any particular recommendations, if I ever come across one out in the wild, and if I find one that's a design that I like one of these would be pretty cool to check out. I'll try to check one out in the future, or maybe Kotobukiya will reprint them sometime in the near future. That'd be pretty cool. Got some 5-star stories here. Mirage, LED Mirage V3 Inferno Napalm. This is a custom build here because I believe that Volks did come out with a kit of this, but at the time I can't imagine that this kit was out, that the Volks kit was out yet. So it's like some custom build here. I know that the Inferno Napalm unit has that super duper, super long flamethrower kind of weapon on that. We got the Anubis here. This one as well, yeah, it's a resin kit. It's a non-scale resin kit because, again, Kotobukiya did come out with a model kit of the Anubis, but yeah, I would have to imagine this is way before the Kotobukiya kit. So this is just a resin kit here, which looks really nice. That looks really cool here. You got some cool artwork as well from the game of Anubis and Nomen. So that looks really cool. Some nice detail images of that. And let's see what else. Mage Knight. This is another resin kit there, it looks like. Another resin garage kit, I believe, here from Mage Knight. And it looks like that's going to be the theme here maybe for this particular section. It's just more garage kits of some different stuff from different games and anime and all that. So let's just take a look through this. We do have some Zoids in here as well. This is really interesting. The Spino Sapper Buzzsaw Zoids Blocks Maniac. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It looks like some sort of figure, not a model kit. It's pretty cool Zoids design though. This is some kind of figure, I guess, at the time. We've also got the Smack Zoids Cannon Driver. Very interesting different Zoids designs in here. Some of these I've never seen before. The Cannon Driver is this sort of like a sea turtle themed Zoids. We've got a Hammerhead themed one right over here. Very, very interesting stuff. A turtle one, a liger there, of course, and some of the other different Zoids designs here. Kind of interesting, even like these big, massive whale looking ones. I've just never seen some of those before. Very interesting. A bunch of line art here. So line art of some different Zoids, some scorpion themed Zoids. There's that Hammerhead one again as well. It's kind of cool to see some Zoids designs I've never seen before. Got some Star Trek stuff here. And let's see, what else? Got some cool illustration work there. This looks like different doll stuff. So aside from dolls, this looks like it's also maybe kind of different, either PVC figures or resin garage kit, but some different character statue figures here. Some being an understatement, there's a lot, so we have a whole bunch more here on the next couple of pages, it looks like. Got Chun-Li there, and some pretty extreme looking mecha here. Just kind of a mix of a whole bunch of different stuff. Some of this, I don't think this is plastic kits, so it's either kind of figures or resin kits of all of these. More character figures here. And alright, got the Deus Machina Demon Blade here as well, and let's see if there's just anything else too much interesting. This is just all sorts of different, again, just more candy toys now, more candy toys and Gashapon stuff, I should say. All sorts of different Gashapon. You got dinosaur, skeletons, just animals, Pokemon up there. Looks like that'd be what, Gen 2? Gen 3? Gen 2, right? No, Gen 3. I don't know. Anyway, older Pokemon stuff in there as well. Pokemon Gashapon. Star Wars, all the Star Wars stuff, Marvel stuff. Character guns file, different toy guns. Evangelion in here as well, of course. We got some new Evangelion products rolling out. All right, let's see what else we got. There's Ano-san himself there with the Evas. And pretty cool little diorama scene here. Retro Diorama World by Takaki Yamamoto. That's pretty cool. It's very interesting. Nice, all the details in there and all the lighting and everything. Really nice photography on this. This is really cool. I like that. Very interesting. Kind of cool to see. Got some motorcycle modeling in here as well. Aircraft modeling, armor modeling. A couple of tanks here. Some cool kind of like winter camo there on that one. And more dolls and character figures. Ultraman stuff. Let's see, is that Origari Joe? No, I don't think so. And over here, a big Gamera suit, it looks like. That's pretty cool. Let's see. So, some different interview sections here. Just trying to see if there's really kind of anything else of too much of interest to me. I really just wanted to kind of focus on all the Seed stuff, which we saw. This is kind of cool. Reader's World looks like this is like fan-submitted works. So, pretty cool build there of the S Gundam BST or XS BST there, and a couple of other different custom builds here of the SD Cubelay 3 set, Char's Gundam, some other different Kotobukiya builds. It looks like over there, I think that's the Kotobukiya Super Robot Wars Huckabane Mark III kit, I believe. Some other different cool stuff. New toy advertisements here. There's like a Big O cosplay there. It's pretty cool. And Slam Dunk. Let's see. All right. getting closer to the end here, and I think that's going to pretty much do it for this issue as we're getting to, even though we have like well over 50 pages left, I'm just going to kind of be fast forwarding through these last few pages here as I just put it to you guys to leave a comment down in the comment section. What did you think of this issue from 2023? It's a little advertisement for some add-on for the Game Boy Advance. Very interesting. A lot of interesting stuff. So it's always interesting to take a look back at some of these older issues, just because also you might find something in here and be like, oh, that's awesome. I really love this series of Detective Conan figures. And then you can go online and try to track them down and see if you can get your hands on them for an affordable price. But there's a lot of like old garage kits, which you can try to track down, candy toys, Gashapon kind of stuff. Any of like the Gunpla you can get without issue, because that stuff just gets reissued from time to time, so none of the Gunpla would be difficult to get your hands on. Here's a bunch more fan submitted artwork over here, it looks like, on these pages, so this looks kind of cool. But yeah, it's interesting to take a look back, because you might find some cool stuff that you want to track down to buy, or it's just kind of interesting to see what was coming out at the time. Also, like the modeling style, to get more like a little bit more into like the actual modeling aspect of it, it's kind of interesting to see kind of like what was in vogue as far as like the style of modeling at the time, in terms of like how the kits were painted, how they were detailed, how they were decaled, color choices and things like that. So that's all kind of interesting to see. So this is going back over 20 years ago now. Here's some cool Machining Krieger stuff in here as well. The Melusine, a few other different SAFS, the Gladiator, different, these would all be Nito kits, I would have to imagine. This is interesting. A Lawson exclusive SAFS 6-pack. That's very interesting. See, like something like that would be awesome to try to track down. I'm sure it'd be very difficult to find, but it's cool to see in here. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I know it was a long one, but like I said, it's like almost 300 pages in this one, so there's a lot to go through, and there's quite a lot of interesting content. There's all this like advertisement stuff. This is why I normally don't pick up magazines like this unless I know there's like a featured section which I'm particularly interested in, because what you're paying for is just a lot of this advertisements, which can be interesting for sure, but you know, if you have a wide-ranging set of interests. But, you know, if you're only interested in the Gunpla, there's going to be a lot of filler in here that's just not really going to do anything for you. But that is going to do it. See, here's these designs again that I was talking about, these chibi Gundam designs. I think it's just that this was something that was maybe coming out at the time, and I don't know exactly how or why, but I've seen some other different modelers more recently making like 3D printed models of some of these, I feel like. So if that sounds familiar to you as well, drop a link or drop something to let me know about that, because I feel like I've seen it around on Twitter or something recently, and I just can't think of who was doing it or exactly what the deal was with those. But let me know. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. As always, if you want to check out some more Gunpla paints, tools, and supplies, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there for you guys to check out. If you guys would be so kind as to leave a like, make sure that you're subscribed. That helps out a great deal. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Thank you so much. Till next time, have a great day, guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye.